Hey guys, welcome back to another video on this channel, and today I'm back with another review and I will have a look at the Waka EA for the MetaTrader 5. So another review. I know you love these reviews and they always get a lot of clicks, so I will make another review. Also, I receive a lot of requests in the comments, like under the video and stuff. There are always plenty of requests for several different EAs, but I cannot make a video for all of them. I'm really sorry. So I focus mainly on the EAs or the programs that are on the main page here. So this time I will be looking at the Waka EA. It's not one of the top rated programs, or like of the top 5 or something, but this EA is in the top charts for a while now. I think it's been there on and off for several months now. So it's a really interesting EA, and it is also one of the higher priced EAs. And yeah, I think it's really interesting to have a look at this. The ratings are also really good, and there seems to be a 4.5 years track record, which is really great. So let's have a look at this system, and I will try to figure out how it works and if it is worth the money. So first of all, let's have a look at this at the sales page here on mql5. And this program, or the seller of this program, says it is a grid system. So this will be one of these, I think, classical martingale grid systems that we know already. But what I kind of like here is that the seller is not hiding the fact that it is a grid system, but it is saying it right away, so everyone knows what he is buying, so to say. So this is a really good thing, I would say. Also, it says that it does not use historical data to over-optimize the test. And this is what we have seen with some of the EAs on mql5 before. So it's always good to not have a history reader. And yeah, if it is a classical martingale grid system, I think this could be true. So what we will have to have a look at is that when we will do our tests, I kind of want some of these tests to fail, because if the test never fails, or if there's never any drawdown or any loss of the account, this is always a little bit, a little bit of a red flag, because I don't think there's any system that never loses. So what we want to see is that this system loses sometimes. So also there is a recommended time frame, a recommended pair of settings, and we will use them when we test it in the MetaTrader 5. Also, before we have a look at the features and the inputs, let's have a look at this live performance link here, because we will find a link to a signal, and you can see the signal is currently 129% in profit, which is really great. The reliability is 3 out of 5. This is not really perfect, but still it's not like 1 out of 5. And it looks like this the growth is really good. There's one thing that is interesting, because it says here the trading style has changed. Trading history before the start of monitoring is not included in statistics. So all of these months here that are highlighted now, they are not included in the statistics. I mean, we can still see them here in the light blue color or gray color, whatever you want to name this. And then we can see this blue color, which should be actual live performance, which is verified by mql5, so to say. So what we can see is some of these gray months here, they show a higher return than the ones that are in blue, which could mean that the risk that was used before was just a little bit higher. Yeah, I mean, I cannot really verify this, but still we have 1.5 years of mql5 verified track record, which is still really great, because in the 1.5 years it made like 100%, which is still really good. And also really interesting and always super important to look at is the drawdown here. So we can see, or we know already, that this is a martingale grid system. So we expect higher drawdown periods, and we can see them here. So we can see drawdown of 14%, 17%, 22%, which is kind of acceptable, because like in total, we are 100% profit, but always remember and do not forget that whenever you have a martingale grid system, it's usually that once you reach this 22% drawdown, like with the next trade that is opened in the grid, the drawdown might jump to 30 or 40% already, because there's this exponential drawdown curve that we will always see. And I think we will see this in the strategy tester later on. Also, what can we see here? We can see some of the statistics, the risks again, and you can see, the drawdown that we saw before. But overall, we have a lot of trades here, 3,000 trades that we can see here in this history. And we can also see the symbols that are traded. And let me check one thing. Australian dollar CAD. It is, the symbols are the same symbols that are supported or recommended here on the sales page, which is really good. So, okay. So, let's have a look at the reviews. Reviews for the signal are kind of good. Price for the signal is really high. So I think the seller doesn't really want to sell the signal. He more wants to use the signal as a marketing tool for the program, which is totally fine. So let's have a look at the program again and at the reviews. And I had a look at the reviews before. I think all of them are really, really good. Okay, there we have one bad review, but I mean, you always get bad reviews for a system. There's another bad review without any comment. And overall, the reviews are quite good. And what I like is that we even see reviews that are really old. So these ones are from the middle of 2021. So like for over 1 year, people seem to use the program. That's kind of a good sign. Also, we can have a look at the response by the seller. She kind of recommends to not use a really high risk, which is always a good recommendation for martingale grid systems. What I kind of miss on this page is a sentence like, this is a high risk system, but that's just my personal opinion. I would write something like this, but I mean, you can do marketing however you want. Like for me, it's just important that there are no lies on the sales page. And so far, I do not really see any lies here. So let's have a look at the features and the requirements and stuff like this. Solid backtest. I mean, doesn't really mean a lot, but it's always good to have a solid backtest. It seems to be really easy to use, so we can just put it on any chart later on, and it should pretty much work. Also, we have a news filter that we can use, and I think it looks like the seller is providing some kind of API for this. I don't really want to look at this video. We'll not really use the news filter, I think, in the test, but it's kind of cool that seems to be a lot of support, and the seller seems to be really willing to help you with your questions and stuff. So let's have a look at some more information that we can see here. Okay, it's good that it is said that on a 1 to 30 leverage account you cannot really use high risk. I think if you use a martingale grid system, it's always good to have a really big leverage, because you might need it. Also, make sure to never risk more than you can lose, because this is in the end a high risk system. And do not forget this. So we will have a look at the settings here. There are several settings, but I think we will have a look at this when we open the MetaTrader 5. Then we have the strategy, and what we can read here already is that I think we will see the Bollinger Bands indicator, we will see the RSI indicator, and both of these indicators are oscillators, so they indicate kind of overbought and oversold markets, which is a typical entry point for grid systems like this. And then we have the option to define a TP, a stop loss. And what I really like is, I saw this here, we have the option to define a maximum drawdown. But I think we will see all of this when we have a look at the program in the MetaTrader 5. So let me quickly open the MetaTrader 5 here, and let me download this program. So let me go to the market here and buy from the market. Then I can search for this. It's already here, Waka EA, and I can say download demo. And this is what you should also do if you think about buying a product in the mql5 store. just download the demo and then you can use it in the strategy tester like I do here now. So Waka EA is selected. We will of course use one of the recommended pairs here, for example, Australian dollar, Canada dollar, cut like this, and the 15-minute time frame like it is recommended. Yeah, I think I will just, first of all, I just want to test for the last year, so the test will load really quickly in the visual mode. And let's have a look at the input list. The input list seems to be quite long, so we have a lot of inputs here, which is, yeah, it's good. So you have a lot of things that you can configure. And let's have a look at this real quickly. Of the EA, yes. Allow a new grid, yes. Allow manual trading buttons, false. I want a completely automated program here. Okay, we can use several risk settings here. Low risk, mid risk, significant risk, high risk. Okay, yeah, this is really interesting. So we can kind of aim for how much return we want to receive per year. And this is interesting. I never really saw this for a system, but it maybe makes sense because when you create these martingale grid systems and when you test them, you can really have an influence on the return. And this is what I always want to stress in my videos. I said this really often already. Trading is not about the absolute return that you receive in 1 year or 2 years. It's more like this relationship between risk and return. And whenever you have any program, you can always get a higher return by increasing the risk. And this is what I always said. So the higher your risk is, the higher the expected return can be. But on the other hand, yeah, the risk is really high. So you kind of risk more to get a higher reward. And this is, I think, what these different risk settings here what they mean. So you can trade a low, I don't know if it's a low risk, but it's a lower risk, of course, and you will receive somewhat like 20% annual performance. But if you are aiming for 100% annual performance, the risk is dramatically higher. And this is what you have to keep in mind. And yeah, I kind of like these settings here. Yeah, also we can have a dynamic lot size. Okay, so we can choose different modes here. I think I will just go maybe with a mid risk here for the first test, and then we can maybe make a high risk test later on. So we can use a fixed lot size, a dynamic lot size, a percentage of the deposit load. And I think this is already configured here. If I choose this mid risk setting, I think it will override these settings. This is what I assume right now. And I think if I would use the dynamic lot based on equity or balance, I could use this input field here. So this is what I assume right now. So fixed initial deposit, false. Yeah, I don't think this is relevant for us right now because I just want to make a normal test and do not want to simulate any withdrawals or something. Rounding method. Okay, this is, I think, not too important for the performance. Maximum lot per order, 100. Auto split. I don't know what this is, this auto split, but I will keep the default settings if I do not really know what it is. I think we could read about this here somewhere. No, not for the auto split. We would have to ask the seller, but for now, I think I will just use the default settings. We have a spread filter, a slippage filter. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of spread and slippage filters. I think it's kind of, I don't really know if they are useful in trading in general. But this is my personal opinion, and other traders, a lot of other traders have a different opinion. I realized this already. So, and we can have a maximum set of symbols that we want to trade at a time. Yeah, we can go with 2 or 3 or whatever. Allow hedging. I think this makes sense to set this to true, so we can open buy and sell positions on the same at the same time. I want to open buy and sell, minimum free margins, you will disable it. Yeah, I will just keep the standard settings here for now. Yeah, this is interesting. So we can define how much maximum floating drawdown we want to accept. And this is really cool. This is cool for a martingale grid system because I could say that I want a maximum drawdown of 10% and then I want to close all my positions. Right now I will leave it as it is here with 100%, but I like this feature because it helps you to reduce the risk of your trading. And it makes the system a little bit more like you know what you got if you say you want a maximum drawdown of 10%. So you know you can lose a maximum of 10%. Okay, then we have some drawdown limits, like daily drawdown limits. FTMO is named here. So I think this can be used for prop firm challenges. I don't know if it's really suitable, but yeah, it's just good to have a maximum drawdown, like a maximum daily drawdown. This is kind of cool. And maximum drawdown action. Okay, so it says what we want to do if we hit this drawdown. So overall, the drawdown safety mechanisms are there, and yeah, there are plenty of them. So this is really cool to see this in a martingale grid system, because even though this will be a high-risk system, I mean, I can tell this without seeing the backtest, but since we have all of these safety mechanisms, it kind of helps you to handle the risk a little bit better, I think. So let's have a look at some more things here. Check margin, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think I will leave everything as it is. I do not want to use a time filter. I mean, we have a time filter here. Okay, so here we can say what symbols we want to trade. The recommended pairs are predefined, and I will leave it as it is. And percentage pips mode. I do not really know what this is. Okay, now we see the settings for the Bollinger Bands indicator and the RSI. So this is also good because we could use the optimizer to configure this a little bit. I think if we would increase the Bollinger Bands period and stuff, it would result into less trades. But I would have to try this in the strategy test and the optimizer for a bit. And then we have the take profit settings. And we can configure the TP in pips for the initial trade. I think this is for the first trade of the grid, and maybe it changes if there are more trades open in a grid. We have a weighted take profit. I think if there are more positions, we probably aim for a little bit more in profit. Oh, and for the grid, we aim for a smaller TP here, can also be 0. Yeah, but I will have to look at this. Once we started the test, we have the break-even function, which is not enabled by default. We can hide the take profit. I'm not really a big fan of this. I do not think the broker is fishing TPs or SLs, but everyone has its own opinion on this. I don't really know what this OPO is. It's not enabled by default anyway, so yeah. So let's see if we find a stop loss. Yeah, we have the option to place a stop loss, but it says if we put 0, it uses a default of 1000 pips. So it seems that we always have a worst case stop. This is kind of not typical for martingale grid systems, but it's really interesting to see this. And yeah, I think there are a lot of settings. I think I nearly got all of them. Okay, we have the grid and we have the grid distance. So I think we will have 350 points in between of the trades. We have a smart distance. Okay, so we increase the distance for the trades. So if we have like 3 to 5 trades open, I think it will increase the grid distance by the factor of 2. And for 6 and more trades, it will increase the distance by a factor of 1.6. So I think like the worse a trading series get, the further the grid steps are away from each other. And this can take away some of the risk if you really have a really bad run with your grid. Also, we can define the maximum number of trades for a grid. Okay, do we see some more interesting things here? We have a news filter. Yeah, it's always hard to use a news filter in the tester, so I will not really talk about this here. And then we have stock market crash filter enabled. Okay, we seem to have a stock market crash filter. I don't want to test like every single function here, because some of them of course, it's hard to understand this. So if you buy the product, make sure to talk with the seller and ask for a detailed explanation of the different functions, so you can decide if you want to use it. And then in the end, we have the typical things we see here, like the trade comment. I think this is the magic number, unique ID maybe. You can put any number here. And so this is it. So let's just run a test and see how this goes. I mean, we can expect to see a martingale grid system, and we can expect that the initial trade, like the first trade for this grid, is based on the Bollinger Bands and or I think it was the RSI, right? Indicator. So this is what we can assume already by looking at RSI, by looking at the inputs. So let's see. Okay, what we can see here, before we see any trade, we can see that we have a beautiful image in the upper left corner of the chart. This is of course just a information. This doesn't really have to do anything with the system, but it's really good that we see like how many currency pairs we trade, the leverage of our account, how many lots are open, the profit and loss that is currently floating. And it's cool to have this information. And I think we also have a news list, also interesting. I think it just takes the news from the MT5 calendar or from some external API, but it's not bad to see this. But my test is not really starting yet. Don't know what the problem is. I think it's still synchronizing data, or is the test stopped now? So let's have a look. I think we have to download data. So let me wait a second, then get back to you when this is done. Okay, so it looks like the test is now loaded. So loaded all of these 3 symbols that we defined in the settings. And what we can see below the main chart, we see a lot of indicators. So we see also in the main chart, we should see the Bollinger Bands, shouldn't we? We don't see the Bollinger Bands. This is a little bit confusing because I think it should use the Bollinger Bands. But anyways, we see the standard deviation indicator, the RSI, the ATR, and another ATR indicator. So we can assume that all of these indicators are used in some way for the strategy. So let's wait. Let's wait till we see the first trade. So let me speed this up a little bit. And let's see if we can see trades here. And also we can see some more information now here in this panel in the chart, but it's not really too interesting. So let me just speed this up. Let's wait for a trade. Right now, some days passed already without a trade. Maybe we are waiting for some trigger level in these indicators, but we will see. Okay, and now we see a signal here. It is in the Australian dollar, Canada dollar pair. So we see a buy trade. So let's have a look at the indicators here. The RSI dropped or hit 30, I think. So this might be part of the signal. I mean, I cannot say this for sure, but it might be part of the signal. I think the signal is somehow based on these indicators in some way. So let's have a look at the TP. This should be, it's 100 points. This is a little bit weird because in the settings, I think we had an input for this and it was a different value, wasn't it? Oh no, it's 10 pips for the first trade. So I think if we see a TP of around 10 pips here, it should be fine. I think it's a little bit more than 10 pips, right? Maybe it's adding the costs or something. I don't know, but it's around 10 pips, so around 100 points for the TP. And I think if we will hit the TP, it's just this is just the trade, but if we do not hit the TP, we will open more positions following this grid trading concept. We saw another trade here in New Zealand dollar, Canada dollar. And let's have a look at this here. This time the RSI was low again. I don't know if it hit the 30 mark here or line here at this moment. When the trade closed, or the candle closed, it was a little bit above this value, but yeah, we see another buy trade here. And now we can follow two of these trades, and I think we should also see around 100 points for the TP. It seems to be a little bit above this. I don't know, maybe it's adding a spread, or maybe it's adding the commission or something. There's another trade. I think this is the first grid opening for this Australian dollar, Canada dollar pair. So let's see, I think this should be 350 points. No, it is a little bit more. So I don't really know the exact rules for opening the grid. Maybe it's based on a minimum distance in points, because this is what we defined here in the settings. I think we had somewhere 35 pips, so 350 points for the grid. I think, wait, let me search for it. Yeah, trade distance. I think it is at least 35 pips. And then maybe it is also dependent on some indicator signal. But now we can see we have two trades now, and both of these trades have the TP on the same level. So it seems to modify the TP once there are two or more trades open. Also, we can see both of these trades have the same lot size so far, so there was no increase in the lot size. And I don't know if this is even increasing the lot size. I'm not sure about this. There's another trade. Okay, yeah, now it increases the lot size. Now it's the double amount here for the lot size. Maybe I missed it, but I'm not sure if we saw some multiplier here. Maybe this is the multiplier. Maybe the multiplier that I said is applied to the grid is not applied to the grid, but instead it's applied to the lot size. This could be the case. Yeah, but we see we increase the lot size here since we open more trades. And there's another trade with again a multiplier. So now we open 0.24 lots for the last trade. So right now it is a classical martingale grid system. So we have the first signal, and then it looks like we have more signals in a kind of fixed distance here. So it seems to be, yeah, it's I think it is at least 350 points, and maybe we are also waiting for an indicator to open the trades. But yeah, this is how martingale and grid systems usually work. And now you can see the price is now coming back. It is close to the TP, and once we hit this TP, it will close all of these positions with a small profit, I think. And this is possible because the last positions have a higher lot size. And the general idea of this strategy is, I think it's pretty clear to everyone right now. So we are just increasing the lot size and the amount of trades when the positions are in a negative area or in a losing position. And then at some point, the price will recover. This is just a statistical model pretty much. So it should recover. And if it happens, we can close all the trades with a small profit. But if it does not recover, then we will have a really big loss. And this is the risk, on the other hand, that you have with these kind of systems. But you can see here, after 1, 2, 3, 4, I think after 5 trades, it closed this USD, Australian dollar, Canada dollar pair. And we can have a look at the graph now. Yeah, you can see it gave us a small profit of kind of nothing, but at least we closed the positions. And yeah, you can see the drawdown was 700 euro in between these two times. So we kind of risked a really big drawdown for a small profit. But that's just the idea of martingale grid systems, right? So you will see this for a lot of martingale grid systems. Also, the other trades were now closed, and we generated another small profit. So I think the main idea of this strategy is to really win with the first trade already. So you can make a small profit. And maybe we could also configure the settings so that we win a little bit more if we profit from from the big positions. So yeah, this seems to be kind of what the strategy does. So I'm not sure what triggers the first signal, but we can assume that this is some kind of combination of these indicators that we see down here. And then, yeah, from this point on, it seems to be a classical martingale grid system. So let's maybe speed this up a little bit. It should run faster if I close the window. And yeah, you can see it's making some profit now. So I think we can already close the visual mode. And you can see, yeah, this drawdown here, like the first series of trades here, this was already kind of unfortunate because normally the drawdown should not be this big, but yeah, you never know. Sometimes there is a day or there's a week where just one direction in the market, and in these periods you really take a big risk if you run a system like these martingale grid systems, like the one we see here. So what I did right now, I started another test for year 2022, and this time I am, disconnected for a second. This time I am not using the visual mode, so the test should run faster. And I think it's still loading right now. But yeah, it should run faster now. Let's have a look at the TP again. Weighted take profit, true, take profit, prim. Yeah, I think I could add this take profit for grid, and if I put something here, it should increase the return, I think. But also, of course, a little bit the risk, but yeah, it should make sure that we generate more profit when we have a series of trades that is open at the same time. So you can see here right now, we are making profit, of course. The blue line here is the balance line, the green line is the equity, and the equity is sometimes, of course, below the blue line because you have temporary drawdowns, and these drawdowns can be really big, so it might blow your account, but as long as it does not blow your account, everything is good, and you kind of always make profit. So yeah, this is the idea of strategies like this, and so far, I mean, it looks good. The returns are in a good relationship to the drawdowns. But as you can see here, if you have a big drawdown, the drawdown always increases exponentially. Like with every single trade that comes in addition to the trades that you already have, your risk, it just multiplies, kinda. So yeah, it's a system that you should never use with money that you really need for your living. It's always a high risk system, and as you can see here, we made the 40% in 1 year. This is what we kind of configured in the settings, so everything seems to be good, and we can configure our risk. But if I make another test, and if I say I'm aiming for 100% annual profit, we will see that these drawdowns can become really big, because what I did here is I just increased the risk that the program can take, and you can see the drawdowns are already way bigger. So this is the exact same period. So we are kind of making the same trades and everything, but just the lot size is higher, so the risk is higher. And we will, if we would test this for multiple years, we would eventually see a scenario where the EA blows the account. And this is the risk that you take with these kind of strategies. But yeah, this is not good. This is not bad. I can't really judge it. It's just like for you personally, you have to define for yourself what risk you want to take. And if you are willing to take such a big risk for a high return, this might be a good system for you. Yeah, but you can see here, like temporarily, we are losing like more than half of our account here to just generate like 1 or 2 euro profits. And if we see more, or if this series of losses would have been even bigger, like 1 or 2 more trades would have blown the account, I think. But yeah, you can see this can work really good. And what I like about this system is I think like right now, from what I know, is I do not think this is a history reader. This seems to be an actual strategy. But of course, I mean, it's martingale grid. It is high risk. So make sure to not risk money that you need to afford for a living. Also, what I realized, the price is kind of high. I mean, if you want to pay it, you can pay it. It's up to you, obviously. But if you only have 300 euro or 500 euro to trade with, it maybe does not make sense to invest 1.8k. But this is, it's just like you should think about it if you do not have a lot of money to trade with. Overall, I think this is like to have a little quick summary here. It is a martingale grid system, but the seller says this on the page, so you kind of know what you get. I cannot say it's a scam or something, because obviously he's saying that it is martingale grid system, and it is one. And I think this could be actually really profitable. But on the other hand, you always have a really big risk. So just make sure you feel comfortable with the risk that you take, and make sure to be aware of this risk. So, I mean, this worked good in the last 3 or 4 years, but there might be a situation where it blows your account, and you just have to be aware of this risk. And this is all I can say about this system. So make sure to check it out. It's in the mql5 store. You can download the free demo. You can do as many tests as you like. And maybe if we just do another test, I want to show you, because this is, for me, it's just important to show you everything about a system. So I will try to make the system crash. Not to say the system is bad, but to show you the risk of a system like this. So if we make the same test starting in 2020, the result might be different. But it might also be very profitable. But we can have a look at this. And this will be the last test that I do to just finish off this video. Okay, so this test also seems to not crash the account. I will not make like 10 tests to show you a scenario where it crashes. You can just do the testing on your own. But I know I talked about this often on the channel already. I think you know the risks by now if you are looking at a martingale grid system. I think this is one of the better martingale grid systems probably, because the test set looks kind of stable, and this does not say it is stable in the live trading scenario, but I like several things about the system. Like, you can choose the risks that you want to trade. You can have this maximum drawdown feature where it just closes all the positions, I think, which I kind of like. And some of these things are really good, and they really speak for the system. On the other hand, it's kind of expensive, but you get a lot of functionalities for this. So it's up to you to make the decision if you want to use this or not. If you want to use it, make sure to just invest or just trade money that you can afford to lose 100%, because in the end it is a high risk system. And just make sure to also talk to the seller of the program to make sure that you understand all the functionalities and the inputs. So I hope you liked this little review. Thanks for watching if you got to this point, and make sure to watch the next videos, and probably it will be another live stream in the next week for the FTMO challenge that I'm doing right now. So see you then, and have a great time, and good trades as always. Bye bye.